Hi, Mom.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you? Oh my gosh, close the door. It's freezing outside.
Yay, so excited to see you.
You too. All right, lead the way. So, Mom, are you excited?
I am really excited. This brings back so many memories from when I was a child.
Awesome. Well, today we are going to be cooking my family's traditional Christmas dinner recipe of rigatoni pasta. But before we get started, Mom, I have a special present for you. So hold on just a second.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Since this is in honor of Christmas, I thought we would get aprons. Which would you like to be? We have naughty or nice.
Maybe I'll be the naughty one this time.
Ooh, okay.
Now I feel like my mother, who was a chef in the kitchen of the restaurant I grew up in.
Yes, well, in honor of her, we have to be all spiffied up and ready to cook.
Okay.
So, well, I think the first thing we need to do before we get into this is to have a glass of wine. So will you do the honors of opening the bottle?
Absolutely. I'm the naughty one, remember? All good things start with a glass of wine.
Absolutely. And Mom, you're very good at that. That's because you work at a winery.
Yes, I have lots of practice.
Lots of practice for sure. Thank you.
I see you're the nice one.
I am the nice one, aren't I?
Super duper. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I think we better get started. So why don't we get going and start with the pork chops.
It needs to be on high. Oh my god, I need my glasses. I can't read that.
Let me give you some younger eyes
Oh,
here.
super duper.
Yeah, that was low.
Oh,
That's high.
great. Thank you.
You're welcome. So how is it that we're not Italian, but pasta became the recipe for Christmas Day?
When my brother and I were kids, when I was about 5 years old, I was not a very adventurous eater, and we both liked pasta and tomato sauce that my mother would make on other nights, not special nights. And I remember sitting at breakfast and we were telling her we don't want ham for dinner, for Christmas dinner. And then she said, well, what do we want? And we said, well, we want our favorite thing that she makes, which is her rigatoni sauce on rigatoni noodles. So you let these sit there until they brown a little bit, and when they're browned enough and the fat renders out a little bit, you should be able to flip them. They should come loose from the pan. This was introduced to me as a kid, and so I always had great memories associated to it, and so therefore I think it's that is what brings out the like or dislike of that particular food, is because of the memories associated with it.
Right, well, science has shown that your sense of taste and your sense of smell is incredibly potent in taking you back to a moment in time. So by having this meal, we're able to transport ourselves back to a previous Christmas or a previous time, or just, put ourselves into that holiday spirit, because that taste is transporting us back.
I have many pleasant memories of, and distinctly the memory of the morning that my brother and I just had this discussion about having this as tradition. And I was 5 years old then, and he was like 3. So it's been a long time, and every time I have it, I think of that whole time, and Christmas is then thereafter. And I'm sure everyone has some recipe in their heritage like this that brings back family, love, holiday time, all of those things.
Absolutely.
Ours just happened to be at the holiday time, but
As we know, food plus family equals love.
cheers to that.
One of the things that I'm working on is finishing up the Bedusville Classic Cookbook, which is about all of the classic recipes that were cooked at your grandparents, or my grandparents, your parents' restaurant, Bedusville Hotel, that was located in Gilbertsville, Pennsylvania. Tell me a little bit about the hotel and what it was like growing up in a restaurant.
Well, I remember when my father said he wanted to buy a restaurant, and well, I thought this was the greatest thing because it was so different and so unique, and you know, who lives in a restaurant? But we actually lived upstairs in an old hotel that was built in 1864 and designed as a restaurant, or as a overnight hotel on the way from Reading to Philadelphia. And when we bought it, it was an old tap room, and it had the green and white linoleum floors and an antique bar. My mother, who always did a lot of gourmet cooking, self-taught chef actually, very creative, set up a menu and gradually changed the whole atmosphere of the restaurant into a gourmet restaurant. Philadelphia had not developed their restaurant renaissance yet of restaurants popping up all over the place with this trend toward more gourmet, more unusual foods, and that was just beginning. Julia Child was the only cooking instructor on television, and my mother had a menu that was varied with dishes from all over the world, where the only other restaurant nearby that was very high gourmet was just French.
We better get over to our sauce.
Yeah, we better. Oh my gosh. Pour the sauce in, right on top of the pork chops.
I'll give you that one. Okay, you want to stir it? Oh, you got to get every little last bit out?
Yes, I am of that ilk.
I'll turn that over to you.
So it's just tomatoes in there, and we've got to flavor it with something. So this recipe has a variety of spices. When my brother and I were 16, we helped out in the kitchen every day after school. My brother made the rolls, which were sourdough rolls made from scratch. I waitressed every Friday and Saturday night. My friends were there waitressing with me. My boyfriend was there waitressing and waitering, and we just had a big party every Friday and Saturday night because all my friends were there working at the restaurant.
And I remember coming in as a kid too. I have fond memories when I was very young of being in the kitchen and romping around and having Grandma show me different things, and it was just a really great place. Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
All right, do you think the sauce is good enough that we can cook some pasta?
Yep, I think so. This can just keep cooking just as it is. Those pork chops in the sauce are done when they fall away from the bone. And you really need to use pork chops with bone in, because the flavor of the bone, the marrow in the bone, adds flavor to the sauce too.
Oh,
You can never go wrong with a little naughty wine in the sauce.
food plus family equals love. Cheers.
Cheers.